Hello, dear students. I wish you well on at home. And now let's start the chapter number 14. It's Empires in India. Indian history is very large. That's why, by the historians, it's divided into three periods. That was ancient, medieval, and modern age. Right, everyone? So, in this chapter, we will read about two empires. The first is Maurya Empire. It's belonged to the ancient period, and the Mughal Empire belonged to the medieval periods. The both are very important dynasties of these periods. So we will read in this chapter. So first, let's start the Maurya Empire. It was the very most powerful dynasty. So let's start about the Maurya Empire. It's belonged to the ancient period. The Maurya Empire was geographically extensive Iron Age historical power. Clear, everyone? Is based in Magad in ancient India, and it's founded in 322 BC when it started by the king of Chandragupta Maurya. He was very powerful, and the empire was the largest to have ever extended in the Indian subcontinent. You can see in this map, spanning over 5 million square kilometers. It is at its zenith under Ashoka the Great. That means he was also very important king. The capital of Maurya Empire was Patliputra, and its modern name is Patna, now we known as Patna. So let's start about the history of Maurya Empire. That means it's starting. So let's start the foundation of the Maurya Empire, which ruled for 137 years, was a unique incident in history. Right, everyone? Given the fact that it was founded by after the death of Alexander the Great, who led many victorious campaigns, right, in the northwest India during 327 BC to 325 BC. Clear, everyone? So let's start the founding of the dynasty. Which dynasty? Maurya Empire. As described earlier, the Maurya dynasty was established by Chandragupta Maurya, who, with the help of his most trusted advisor and counselor, was Chanakya. Clear, everyone? Overthrew the Nanda dynasty. He helped it and built one of the largest empire, was the Maurya Empire ever on the Indian subcontinent. Clear, everyone? Now the conquest of Magad. How they conquest the Magad? So let's start. Even through Chandragupta rise, it's shrouded in mystery and controversy. It's a mystery. Historians believe that it was Chanakya. Who was Chanakya, or popular known as Kautilya, Chandragupta, who provoked Chandragupta to take over the throne of Magad. Clear, everyone? Then after some legends, according to various historical legends, Chanakya was insulted by one king, that was Dhananand, the ruler of Magad. Right, everyone? Then a kingdom that was a large, and its military was very powerful. That time he was very powerful king and feared by its neighbors. All are in favor. Chanakya then and their swore to destroy the whole kingdom. He take a sword to destroy all the kingdom. So in order to take a revenge, that means in a badla lene ke liye for Nanda king, he used his intelligence. He uses intelligence along with Chandragupta. With Chandragupta, he gathered many young men from the across Magad and other provinces. That means dushman ka dushman dost. This type of theory started. Men who were upset over the corrupt and oppressive rule of their king. If they were not agree, all helped the Kautilya. Plus, they were able to acquire the necessary resources for his army. Clear, everyone? To fight a long series of battle. Everyone was ready. Everyone were ready to fight to Nanda king. Maurya, while preparing to invade That time they were preparing invade. Patliputra came up with a strategy. He prepared one strategy, then a battle was announced. It was very big strategy where the Magad army was drawn from the city to a battlefield to engage with the Maurya forces. Everyone will busy there that time. So that time he prepared one strategy. Meanwhile, the Maurya general bribed the corrupt general of Nanda. He was also against of that. Chandragupta army even managed to create an atmosphere of a civil war in the kingdom. He started, which lead to the death of Haya. Clear everyone? To the throne. Then ultimately the Nanda was resigned, handing power to the Chandragupta. How it came and went into the exile that time. Then after some times, Chanakya contacted the Prime Minister Rakshasa, clear, and convinced him that his loyalty was to Magad, not to the Nanda dynasty, right? To the Chandragupta, and that he should remain in office. Clear everyone? Finally, then everyone was agreed. The first king of Maurya dynasty was Chandragupta Maurya, became the emperor. That time he became the emperor. Then Chandragupta Maurya became the first emperor to unify India, clear, into one state, creating one of the world's largest empire in its time, and the largest ever in the Indian subcontinent. It was the largest unique empire that time. Clear everyone? And it's a time of 321 BC to 297 BC. The classical Greek writer, we don't know about that, but some writers wrote, the classical Greek writer described about the Chanakya and Chandragupta as a man of, but do not mention the exact caste, because they also don't know which caste of Chandragupta Maurya. He was born in orphan, that means anath ashram, and adopted by a pastoral family. Then after some time it was recognized and taught by Chanakya. Clear everyone? Chandragupta was recognized and taught by Chanakya. Chanakya was a Hindu Brahmin who was Hindu Brahmin and the author of Arthashastra. It's a very great book. Chandragupta at the end of his life renounced everything and became a Jain monk. Why? I will clear now why he stopped these things, because in the reign of Chandragupta as well as dynasty which followed him, everyone started to follow the Jain monk. Was an era economic prosperity. That time they were very prosper, reforms and expansion of infrastructures. Its important thing is there why he stopped these things. I will clear. So at that time irrigations, roads, mines they started. Many religions thrived in India that time during his rule. They started Jainism, Buddhism, Brahmanism also started that time. Ajivika gaining the prominence. These are also along with the Brahmanism. These important religions started that time. Clear everyone? And his son was Bindusara, who was the son of Chandragupta Bindusara. That time 22 years old Chandragupta, that time when his father Chandragupta stepped down from the throne. Clear? He extended the vast empire. Clear? Which he inherited from his father. जो भी उन्हें उससे अपने parents से मिला था. He vast its empire to the South India, that is known as the Karnataka. That time he undered in them. The Bindusara maintained friendly relation with other states and other areas established by his father. He also maintained जो उनके पिताजी ने किया था. Brought 16 new states. That time he brought 16 new states under the Maurya Empire. He almost conquered the entire Indian peninsula. That means was popularly known as a king was who conquered the land between the two seas. Clear everyone? Which was the peninsular India. Bindusara resigned at the 28 years and died in 270 BC. And after who became emperor? Ashoka. Ashoka was the greatest emperor of Maurya dynasty. Bindusara, after his death, was succeeded by his son Ashoka. Clear, everyone? The great Ashoka. He was as a young prince. That time he was very young. Ashoka was magnificent commander. He was very powerful king who crushed revolts in Ujjain. Clear, everyone? And Takshila. He that and was given the charge of the viceroyship of Ujjain. Clear, everyone? He was very aggressive and ambitious king, monarch, right? Who reasserted the empire's superiority. Clear, everyone? In the southern, that means southern and western part of India. In regards to Ashoka accession to the throne, clear, there is a general agreement he did in the sources that Ashoka was not a crown princess. He was not a crown prince, but succeeded after killing his brother. Who was his brother? That means after his brother. But the pivotal events of his life came when he conquered the Kalinga. Important points is there when he conquered the Kalinga war in 261 BCE. Kalinga controlled the routes. That time Kalinga is very important place in the South India, both land and sea. Clear, everyone? And it was therefore necessary that it should become a part of Maurya Empire because for the trading. Clear, everyone? Even though Ashoka's army succeeded in overwhelming forces. Clear, everyone? And civilians units in order to build a fortification. Clear? An estimated 1,000, that means 100,000 soldiers and civilians were killed in the furious warfare in the Kalinga war. He saw the very large bloodshed and Ashoka went personally witnessed and devastation. His heart was filled with remorse and guilt. Affected by so much destruction there, right? And Ashoka embraced Buddhism because he do not want to fight and he renounced war and violence. He stopped everything. After that, Ashoka implemented principles of ahimsa. He stopped war and fighting by banning hunting and violent sports and activity. He stopped it and ending forced labors. Right, everyone? Ashoka fought many wars after seeing the bloodshed caused by the war of against Kalinga. He vowed to never fight war. He decided he will not fight the wars. And he became the followers of the great Buddha and devoted his life towards improving the lives of his people. So that's why he gave the instructions to write the instructions on pillars, on rocks to the people, and Ashoka communicated with his subject through his edicts erected in different parts of his empire. He had his instructions carved on rocks and pillars. Understood? And the Ashoka's important pillar was it located in Vishali, Bihar. I think it's clear about the Maurya Empire.